Today we're at the new 911 facility with Greg, the county's 911 director. We're going to do two things first. Walk through the building so you can see what's here, and then sit down for a casual conversation about what this job looks like and why this facility was needed and how it serves the community. Greg, thanks for having us. For people who don't know you, who are you and what's your role here?
Sure. My name is Greg Houdyshell. I'm the executive director of the Lincoln County Emergency Services, which encompasses 911 and mapping and addressing.
How long have you been doing this for?
Just about a year. I started 1st of February last year.
Quick note, as we go on the tour, there may be areas we can't show for security reasons, but we'll walk through what we can and explain the big picture.
So this is our lobby. Sam is our administrative assistant. She is behind that window and helps people out with various things, especially sunshine requests. You've taken advantage of that quite a bit.
Met her a few times.
Yeah. Come on in. Take a left here. So these hallways are long. I've been getting my steps kind of nice.
A little bigger than the old building?
It's a lot bigger than the old building. Got plenty of storage in this one. Got the print room. As I alluded to, addressing and mapping is in this building. The assistant director's office, and then my office at the end there. They put us a nice fitness room area in here, nice rubberized floor. So we haven't equipped it yet. That was not something that we actually had in our budget. So we're kind of on the lookout for some bargains or donations. But it's one of those stress relievers that, it's a stressful job. When you're sitting in the room for 12 hours a day, so give them a way to sort of burn off some stress at some point, right? We're just going to cut through the men's locker room here. This will get us into that center hallway again. And we provided lockers for our employees. Everybody has their own locker. The women's side has twice the number of lockers because it's generally a job that's filled by women. So this is the back hallway, women's locker room. This is kind of cool. We wanted to give our telecommunicators a place that they could de-stress, and also on days, and we're looking at this weekend coming up, if there's a snow event and they can't make it home, they can grab a nap here, sleep overnight here. So we've got all the accommodations, including, I don't know if you saw in the locker room, but there's full showers and whatnot in there. So
wow.
We have kind of all the amenities of home here. A second room here that's designed essentially the same way.
Wow.
So, yeah. This is our warrants office. You can come in here. Hi, Barb. So this is where all of the county warrants, city warrants from all over the county are housed. We've gone to e-warrant now, so officers don't have to come by anymore and pick up their warrants. And very soon, most of the files that are on that wall are going to go away because we're going to go paperless.
So don't have to go pick up any physical copies anymore?
No, we email those all over now.
Oh, wow.
Now we're back to where we came in. This is the conference room. So access to it from the main hallway and then through the lobby as well.
Cool.
Nice room for having impromptu meetings and whatnot. We have a full break room with oven and refrigerators and pantries for both of the day shift and night shift crews. So they've got plenty of room to store their food, and oftentimes they come in and prepare their own meals here. So,
who's the best cook?
I am not going to give that up. This is a multi-purpose room. In its current configuration, it's set up as a meeting room, or it could be a training room as well. But its sort of main feature function is as a fully functioning EOC. You see the boxes in the floor. There's 10 of those boxes. Those are set up so that we can arrange the tables in a group of 10 and have 5 seats at each table, so they follow the typical EOC, ESF guidelines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then each box actually has a connection to our Crestron device, so we can essentially project any signal from any of the tables to any one of these screens in here, or grab inputs from anywhere else and put those up on the board. So
What device? What'd you call it?
it's a Crestron.
What's that?
It's a basically video routing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all magic electronic stuff, right?
This is a beautiful room. Wow.
This room is designated as the officials breakout room. So in a situation where we would have full EOC and you'd have dignitaries up to probably the governor or maybe a senator to come in and address people and make important decisions. They can have privacy in here, all meet at the table, make those decisions, and then come back out to the floor with them.
Wow.
So that's what this room is for. And then this room is also equipped with a coffee bar and its own restroom, so people don't have to get up and move. So that's the EOC. And now we're going to get into the secure space. So, as I said, EMA is a tenant here, so these 2 offices are his, and then the interoperability manager is the next door, and then we got storage, and a lot of the infrastructure is in those doors on the left. Something I want you to note as we move into the secure area, which is where dispatch is, the thickness of these walls. So this area to the north of where we are right now is all within a storm shelter.
Okay.
So it is tornado rated. These doors are designed to close automatically in case of an emergency. And they are actually FEMA rated doors.
Wow.
So these guys are super secure in here and should be able to continue operating under most circumstances if they take a hit. So, all right, let me pop this door open. I'm going to ask it that you just stay out here.
Sure.
But this is where, I don't know if I can get it in here. There we go. This is where all of our electronic equipment is, the telephone equipment, all the computer equipment, and all the radio equipment. You're welcome to step up to the door and get a quick pan of what's going on in there. But lots of equipment, lots of antenna feeds, super clean. Everything is brand new. They did it right when they designed the building, and they brought everything new in here. Much of the equipment that was in the old building was over 20 years old. Wow. So we were definitely due for that. Supervisor's offices, one for day shift, one for night shift. And this is where all the action happens. This is our new dispatch center. Come on in here.
How many dispatchers do you have on at a time in here?
We try to have 4 on with a minimum of 3.
Hey, tell them, be advised, there's a return transfer from St. Joe's West to Troy Manor.
So currently we have 8 stations installed. There's room in here for a total of 12. So 2 more on this end, 2 more on the far end. One of the reasons, and I think we sort of talked about this earlier, that this building needed to happen is because we were absolutely out of room in the other building. These guys were literally sitting back to back and elbow to elbow in the old room, and now they have space to actually work, and it's a much more professional atmosphere for them to work in.
Some of them have lights above their stations. What's the red, yellow?
Yep. So those are called stack lights. Basically, that gives somebody like me walking in the room an idea of what that dispatcher is doing at the moment. So when it glows yellow, I know that they have radio traffic in their ear. When it's glowing green, I know they're on the telephone. and when it's red, I know they're transmitting. So in a quick scan, I can tell how busy the room is, and I also can tell who is available that I can talk to about something.
Are the lights anything special on the dividers here at all? Or
That
just
is the telecommunicator's preference. They have full control of that. And each position is also climate controlled, so they have their own heater and fan unit at each station, so they can
wow.
keep themselves warm. That's been an issue in the past. We're still sort of getting used to the space and trying to get the climate adjusted. We've only been in here for actually a little bit less than 2 weeks.
What was the official day you all moved in here?
The 8th of January. Yeah, and that was an interesting day. It all really hinged on telephone service, 911 service, which are two separate things. And that was the cutover date that was set 5 or 6 months ago.
How'd it go?
The 911 service went flawlessly. They said we're going to cut at 9 o'clock, and officially at 9:17 we were cut. And the first 911 call came in here at 9:32. Actually, anecdotally, at 9:31 and a half, there was a power glitch that flashed the lights. And at 9:32, we got the first 911 call, which was a transformer fire. So it was related.
It was storming pretty bad that day, wasn't it?
No, it actually wasn't. It was windy. It was
windy, okay.
Really windy.
How does something like that take place when you move over such a critical piece of infrastructure like that to make it seamless?
So we split crews. We had to have a crew over at the old place still because our admin lines, so the non-emergency lines that people call in on, those were still active over there. And our 911 lines were active over here. So we had 2 telecommunicators over here taking 911 calls and dispatching from here. And then the other half at the other building taking non-emergency calls on the non-emergency lines and dispatching those calls from over there. So it was hectic for about 5 hours. Finally, at 1:30, we got the admin lines cut over to here, and we were able to bring everybody over. And from there, it was actually pretty smooth. But it was tense for a while.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And our holiday tree we decided it's gonna stay up all the time. We're gonna decorate it for whatever the next holiday is.
So that'd be Valentine's Day now.
That's correct. Yeah. And this room is also equipped with a coffee bar and their own bathroom, so they don't have to get up and move too far away from their space to relieve themselves or grab a cup of coffee.
Can you talk about some of these larger TVs? What these are?
Yeah. We've got a constant radar loop going on so they can kind of see what's maybe coming this way. We give them an idea what they need to be prepared for. And then the other screen has active 911 on it, which is mostly used by the fire departments for their responders. But it gives us an idea of who's responding as well, because those guys will interact with the app on their phones and going around. And then we give them access to TVs as well. Again, trying to give them as many ways to de-stress as possible and in the room. If they want to watch a show on TV, as long as they're not missing calls and keeping up with their desk, then we're okay with that.
Anything else we missed in here?
No, that's it.
It's a really nice place.
Yeah, we're really lucky. The board made a decision shortly after they were seated that this was something that needed to happen. And so they budgeted for it and started researching it. And this is what we ended up with. And it's a fabulous place. It really is.
Perfect.
All right. That is the tour.
Now that we've walked through the facility, let's sit down and talk through the bigger picture. Greg's background, how 911 works behind the scenes, and what this new building changes for the community. Greg, thanks again for doing this. I want this to feel like a conversation, just helping people understand who you are, what you do, and how 911 really works. So how did you end up in this role?
So, 40 years in public safety. I've been a police officer for pretty much my entire adult life. Few detours here and there into mostly IT work. But I always seem to get myself back into police work. Back in '02, I actually worked for the sheriff's office up here. So from '02 to '08, I worked at the sheriff's office here in Lincoln County. Made lots of connections up here and never really lost track of those. And at some point, it appeared that they were going to be looking for a new director. The board would be looking for a new director. And they reached out to me to see if I would be interested. And the rest is kind of history.
How has your role coming from law enforcement helped you here?
Well, just familiarity with the way communications works, from the law enforcement side, sitting in the seat of the police car and monitoring that traffic. And I mean, there's always interaction, as you know, with telecommunicators between police and the telecommunicators. So, I mean, it's kind of an easy transition. And management, it seems like I've always been in a management role of some sort. So I've had quite a bit of experience with that as well. And then the radio and the IT part, you saw the room. It's full of radios and full of IT stuff. So, I mean, it really checked all the boxes for me, as far as, something that I felt was a good, probably last job for me. I mean, I'll probably realistically retire from this job. And honestly, it's the best job I've ever had.
Really?
I'm really enjoying myself doing this.
How come?
Because it checks all the boxes. Yeah. And I've got a good people here too, man. These people are all professionals and they're all really, really good at what they do.
Can you take us to, like, when someone calls 911, what actually happens behind the scenes?
Oh boy. So prior to this building, and there is one technology change that happened between the old building and the new building, and that is that we transitioned to something called Next Generation 911.
Okay.
Next Generation 911 takes the old copper technology, which goes back to the days of Edison, and removes that from the equation and puts everything essentially in the cloud. So our 911 calls get routed. Basically, what happens is you place a call, and if it's from a landline, it checks the database to see where that call is originating from, and then figures out what PSAP, public safety answering point, should get that call. And that call is routed to us. We answer it. We're given the phone number that it came from and also the location that it's coming from. It works essentially the same way if you call from a cell phone. Grabs a location, usually based on where the tower is. However, it also does, because of the technology in the phone, give us pretty close pinpoint location based on the lat long that your GPS on your phone is reporting. So we pretty much know where the call is originating from, and again, the number that the call is coming from as well.
Was that not the case with the previous system?
It was not. A lot of those calls, and we had other technology on top of that helped us to sort of zero in on that. But with the new next gen stuff, we don't have to have that. Although we're still using it, but it's not nearly as important as it was before.
How demanding is this job for dispatchers mentally and emotionally?
Oh man. So to put this in perspective, a dispatcher takes 15, 20, 30 calls a day. And each one of those calls is potentially that caller's worst day. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So you can imagine taking those calls for 12 hours of a day. It's super demanding and super stressful. And you get a situation like we had yesterday in Troy, where unknown threat, officers all responding, everybody talking at the same time. It was absolute chaos. in that room yesterday. And that happens a lot. And they keep it together and they keep all of the details straight. It's actually pretty remarkable to watch that room. Last March, when we had the firestorm in Lincoln County, same thing. The calls were coming in 2, 3 at a time. Fire here, fire there, fire everywhere, all over the county. And they kept it all straight and kept it going for about 12 hours. It was about a 12-hour stint where it was just constant calls, and they had no equipment to send. So they were pulling equipment from everywhere, and they handled it absolutely professionally and got it done.
What happens when they do run out of equipment? Talking about that.
Yeah, there are strike force, task force that they can jump into and request those extra units from surrounding agencies. So they did get into that situation that night, but that's fairly rare.
What do you wish the public understood about dispatchers?
Just that, man, it's a hard job. It's super stressful. And I know sometimes a dispatcher comes off sounding like they don't really care about what the caller is, the information that the caller is trying to give them. But in reality, you may be the 10th person to have called and said, hey, there's a crash at wherever it is. And they've already talked to 9 other people and they have the information. They're just trying to get on to the next call and make sure that the call gets dispatched. So they're not being rude. They're just trying to be as efficient as possible under the circumstances.
Hey, thanks for clarifying that. And I have to ask, do you have a favorite dispatcher?
Of course not. No, they're all my favorite, man. I'm telling you, these ladies and gentlemen really, really do a great job.
Well, on to the next note here. What can residents do to help dispatchers do their jobs better?
When they call 911, it's important that they try to remain calm. And I know that's impossible. Again, it's usually somebody's worst day, right? But listen to what the dispatcher is asking them, what information they're asking for, and try to answer as completely as possible. Again, it's hard. I get it. They get it. But they're trying to get the right resources sent to whatever the incident is. And until they get all those questions answered, it's hard to make sure that they get those all done.
Well, thank you for that. Before we wrap up, is there anything we didn't cover that you think people should know about this building, your role, or how 911 works?
I don't think so.
Well, Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this and give people a behind-the-scenes look.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out, man.